Hey, it's Yitzchak Pierson, author of Amazon best-selling book Open Doors, a proven guide to reaching your highest potential and achieving your dreams, and a certified high-performance coach. In this video, I'd like to talk with you and explain a little bit about the documents that are included here, with the first one, a self-discovery worksheet on reframing your fears. You know, these examples are some of the fears that I had getting into the real estate business. Your fears might be different, but you can still use this exercise. In the first example, it says, I scare myself by making phone calls for business, and I'd like to really make those phone calls for business without the fear. And how I scare myself is by imagining the rejection I would receive or the meanness from the person answering the phone. So one of the ways to change that fear is by reframing it. Now, I say I want to make phone calls for business, and I encourage myself by imagining the person on the phone, they're happy to get the phone call. They're happy to hear from me because I'm adding value to their day, and the information and knowledge that I'm calling about is providing value. And they get a smile, a big smile on their face, and they're happier after our call. This exercise shows that we don't have to believe the thoughts in our head. The thoughts that we think are not necessarily true. We are not being chased by lions and tigers anymore, so most of the fears that we have in our life are made up in our head. They are one-sided. We go down a rabbit hole of the worst case scenarios, but the reality is that the best case scenario is just as possible. So if we put more focus on the best case scenario, then it is more likely to happen for us. One of my favorite acronyms for the word fear is fantasized experiences appearing real. So with this exercise, it really challenges you to think about some of the thoughts and imaginary experiences in your head that are scaring you, and write them down, and then come up with a new meaning and a new thought process in order to handle those fears. Also on this page, you have some links for free self-assessments and resources. The first is a free DISC assessment. This is an easy one, to learn more about your personality and become more self-aware about how you show up on a daily basis, and to learn what some of your strengths are and where you have room to improve, or to find the people to partner with who are better in those areas that are not your strong suit. And then there's another free resource for the Authentic Happiness Quiz. This will give you a rating of where you're at being authentically happy in your life right now. Also, if you want more information on positive psychology, there's some free links on the page, one to a TED Talk by Martin Seligman, and then another resource on positive psychology. I hope these resources are helpful to you. And now let me talk about the second document here. It might seem simple, but it's called the 50 Successes List. A lot of times we tend to forget how far we've come to get to where we are at in life. And this was a concept that I first heard about through John Assaraf. He wrote a book called Inner Size. It's a really great book that talks about neuroplasticity and our ability to change ourselves no matter how old we are or how set in our ways we are. I heard him on a podcast talking about how, we have dream boards and we have vision boards, but we don't acknowledge our accomplishments enough. So he actually had an accomplishment board. And I love this idea so much that I personally created an accomplishment wall. You see it here behind me. It reminds me how far I've come. So on this list, I want you to write down your accomplishments that have got you to where you're at now. It doesn't matter how small they may seem, whether it's that you graduated high school, or you learned how to drive a car, or you got your first job, or you got a raise. Any of these little things that you've done, just write them down. because this gives you evidence of all of the things that you have completed this far in your life. And it really will help you to get to that next level. It gives you the confidence that you have kept promises to yourself, that you have made a difference in your own life, and most likely you've made a difference in someone else's life as well. It helps you remember that you've kept integrity to yourself and that these little wins, these successes, they may seem small to you, but it's these wins that lead to big successes in life. And they create a momentum to achieve great big accomplishments. So I hope these 2 documents help you on your journey, and I look forward to working with you more in the future. And I hope you find these items valuable. I acknowledge you for showing up and putting in the work. You are amazing, and I wish you all the best on your journey.